Well, Starscream did his own introduction.
Yes, here I am, at very long last!
So I guess there's nothing left for me to say other than welcome everybody to the first review of 2023. And if you guys have been following the shorts, you know kind of the issue that we've been having with Starscream and Hot Rod, but at least we have one of them here on the table. Now, if you guys will notice right off the bat, we are actually sporting two of his different launcher types because this boy does come with his standard null ray, which is typically obviously used in his robot mode, or you could conversely use the missile launcher. Because of the safety regulations and this thing having to be super long instead of just the head of it sticking out here, I typically don't like the way these look. But as far as the launcher goes, it's actually very decent. Now, speaking of these launchers, I've kind of had a little bit of a tenuous situation with mine because, especially with the null rays, they don't want to stick in there quite right, so I have to kind of stick them in there with the circles turned up and then turn them sideways. And you see, even there, it does not always want to stick in or stay in. I had the previous Wal-Mart release of Starscream and I got rid of him, but them putting him in the movie colors, and it's so much livelier, and I dig that. Now, can I talk about movie accuracy and not bring in the Studio Series recolor of Earthrise Starscream, which I have to say I've really become spoiled by this boy, and it kind of made me forget about how originally gappy this version of Starscream is. And I'm not expecting this level of quality in a Genesis figure. Now, a big thing to me is how well is the cockpit done, because I love a bright, luminous cockpit. And in a comparison between these two boys, I feel that the Studio Series Starscream is a little bit darker, and I love the lively canopy. Now, one thing that I kind of wish they would have done for this figure is included a minifig. You can see that apparently Luke Skywalker has taken Starscream for a joyride. Don't know how that works, but I kind of wish that they had released a minifigure of maybe like Cobra Commander, because while I'm not a G.I. Joe fan, I think that would be just kind of a cool little additional thing to put, because as you can see, he has the space for just such a figure. Something else that you'll kind of notice is the fact that just like in the movie, his tail fins did not have the traditional detailing that we normally associate with Starscream, where he had like the red and silver stripe to match his wings and stuff. Which, okay, that's something I wish he had, but it's not an overall big thing. So here we have the past and future second in command of the Decepticons. However, it is kind of funny to see basically a purple space jet versus Starscream's normal Earth jet. But definitely I just kind of wanted to show you how they scale. I mean, they're very similar in size, which is probably not surprising, but it would be kind of interesting to see a movie accurate Deco version of Cyclonus. I mean, look how well this boy is rocking his. In the episode SOS Dinobots, Megatron transformed into his gun mode and attached to the underside of Starscream so that they could fly around and shoot at Wheeljack and other Autobots. So the last time they released Starscream, they also released this version of Megatron. Well, for the movie accurate Deco version, Megatron does come with Starscream yet again. However, just like we were looking at in the animation, you can take Megatron and plug him on the bottom of Starscream's jet mode, and there you have it. Now you can recreate that scene if you want to. It's a cool feature regardless. So definitely I'm loving the jet mode. And with that being shown, guys, why don't we go ahead and now take a look at his robot mode and see how it actually turned out.
We now return to the Transformers.
And now our Genesis Starscream is looking actually very good. I personally prefer him like this, but that's just because I'm a sucker for animation colors and everything. Now, obviously, we are not expecting prestige masterpiece quality with the ever first attempt at a Starscream. And you know, like the fins down here and the wings being really not even on his back at all, but on his thighs essentially. I mean, this thing has a charm that is very of its time. Now, the only articulation that this guy has other than in his wings back here is really just his arms. And you know what? I mean, that's fine. Like the hot rod that he's also coming out with, That's about Hot Rod's only feature in robot mode too. With that being said though, we look at figures like Soundwave, and the dude has amazing articulation that just blows him away. Now, to be fair, these were two different toy lines. Microman was the one he came from, and they were just pulled together to make the overall Transformers. Now, despite that fact, you do have to kind of respect how good they do look together. So here is Starscream with Cyclonus also, and the funny thing that we were just talking about with these two guys, he kind of feels like the midpoint between where these guys are at, despite the fact that he came out after both of them. However, even if I had the ability to change their engineering, I wouldn't, because it just has that classic feel to it when you're going between modes. However, I do notice that Starscream, he's rocking his null rays, but these other dudes have handguns. So it kind of seems a little bit unfair, doesn't it? Well, obviously, as we saw earlier, he does come with Megatron, which to be held in this hand, he does have to separate. So you plug in the top part right there. Then you go down here to where this peg is on the bottom of his fist and plug that into the gun grip. Ah, nice little snug fit for this guy. There we go. All right, and now he is holding his leader in his hand, getting ready to blast some Autobots. I do like how that looks. It's nothing superb, but even like the cheeky little Decepticon symbol there, digging that. Although that's not a feature that is limited to this guy alone. As you can see, the Studio Series 1 over here is holding his iteration of gun mode Megatron. Even just like this, if these guys were side by side on the shelf, or however you display them, it would be kind of an interesting look of seeing how far we've come in all the years. So I'm really looking forward to Hot Rod, because if this Starscream is any indicator of the awesomeness that Roddy is going to be, oh man, that's going to be a fun figure. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed our first review of the year. This was our look at Starscream, and until next time, guys, we'll see you in another review.
Now where's he gotten to?
So long, sucker!